Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Bullship podcast with Bill and Matt, where we're delving into everything you don't need to know about the supply chain. I am Matt with my co-host Bill here. And Bill, can you tell everyone what we are recording about today on the 13th of December?
Well, on the 13th of December, Matt, I know the problem that you're facing right now. You want to know, Christmas is coming up. How can I scare the crap out of my kids this Christmas? So we're going to talk about haunted houses, Halloween, and I love the response, but there is a tie-in to peak season here. There is. Just you wait.
For our many audio only listeners, you did not see just the phenomenal head shaking that I just did. But sure, let's go with it. It's December, time to talk about Halloween. Please lead us off.
It was indeed epic head shaking, Matt. Like, I could feel the disgust just emanating from the screen.
Across entire time zones, Bill. I also love that you don't know what time zone I live in. And let me just clear that up for everyone. It's Central, the best of the time zones. Thank you.
For some.
Speaking of Central Time Zone, I was recently in, this is kind of our chatter session. I was recently in Iowa. Have you ever been in Iowa, Bill?
I have not, but I was recently in Central Time Zone and I actually wanted to chat with you about something while I was there. So, but you first. Yeah.
What I love about Iowa, it is every single one of the stereotypes. It is exactly how you imagine Iowa to be. Cold and flat with a lot of nothing for a long time. So that's my pitch for Iowa.
That's a great story. A lot of flat nothing.
I really want to hear about you being in the best of all time zones, please.
All right. Well, in the second best of all time zones, so we went to Michigan for Thanksgiving, and when we travel with the kids, we always look for a hotel with a pool. And so I was thinking about you and your ill-advised dip into the pool that we discussed last time. For our dear listeners who didn't listen to our last podcast, first of all, I don't blame you. But second of all, Matt told a story about jumping into his pool in 60-degree weather, I think it was.
It was probably closer to 50, but the pool was probably close to 60 degrees.
Yeah. So a poor choice, let's say. But
if you are a Wim Hof proponent, great choice. Felt fantastic, very brisk. Felt the endorphins rising inside of my body.
And then somehow your children actually jumped in after you and actually swam. And this is what I wanted to talk about, because we went to this hotel.
Yes.
In Michigan, very cold. And we always pick out a hotel with a pool because when we're traveling, especially for family events, where the rest of the family does not have small children, the things start 9 or 10 o'clock is kind of the earliest. So there's this window where we wake up in the morning, you know what I'm talking about, where you're in a hotel room with these children who are climbing the walls and driving you nuts. So we pick a place with an indoor pool so that we can say 7 o'clock, pool is open, throw them in, wear them out, and then we're good. So 7 o'clock, we are at the pool in our bathing suits and walk into, it's an indoor pool. And I walk in, I'm like, it's not quite as muggy and humid in here as a normal indoor pool seems like it would be.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. It should be.
And before I can really say anything, my youngest, 6 years old, jumps into the pool and immediately starts crying because that pool was not heated. And it was, the room was cold. It was probably about the temperature that you jumped in. And so Thanksgiving weekend, I was thinking about you.
I appreciate that, Bill. Anytime that you think about me from the best of all time zones it's wonderful and very warming to my heart.
Felt a very good connection with you in the Central Time Zone there. Yes. But anyway,
7 o'clock. Had you eaten breakfast at this point?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay, just hotel breakfast. I assume was not open, but you were just.
Our kids are early risers, so we're I mean 6 to 6:30 on a normal day. At a hotel, it's definitely before 6. Yeah. So, and I think breakfast was open at 6 o'clock. If not, we're prepared. We've got yogurts and granola bars and everything. Yeah, it's old hat now.
Did you bring any lobster with you, Bill?
I did not eat any lobster in Michigan.
we're gonna like really derail this podcast. We're like 5 minutes already. I bought imitation crab meat for Thanksgiving. It was fantastic. It was so good. I'm still eating it today. It's great.
So
Sorry.
your Thanksgiving consisted of no turkey, just the crab meat.
No, that was we made like a crab. I made a crab rangoon dip with
Oh man,
very seasoned meat.
I really hoped you were going to say I made a turkey out of imitation crab meat, but
I have a lot of
like a
it left.
tofurkey kind of thing, except crab meat.
It's possible.
That,
We
that that's what I was hoping you'd say. But yeah.
everybody's like, Matt, please stop talking about your nonsense. Get to the Halloween in this December episode,
All
please.
right. So let's talk about Halloween. So I came across the reason we're talking about Halloween is that I came across these haunted houses that are not nowhere nearby, but they do like a Krampus themed haunted house. Right. So I started asking like, which made me realize, gee, haunted houses have a major peak season problem, don't they? Right?
They do, yes.
Because they operate like 1 month of the year, and the
Maybe a
rest
little
of the
more than a month,
uh,
but yeah, you're not wrong.
roughly, yeah. Okay. So like 6 weeks out of the year.
I'll give you
Is that?
6.
Are you comfortable with
Yeah.
that? Okay.
Do
All right.
you are you a haunted house person, Bill?
Not at all. And
I
I
figured like you weren't.
no.
I am,
Okay.
surprisingly, but I haven't
All
gone
right.
in many years.
Okay.
Sorry, continue.
Though I did, I grew up in the town next to Salem, Massachusetts, and so yeah. So I know it is kind of like peripherally always been a part of my life.
That's fair.
Um,
Okay.
but I never really thought anything of it other than the fact that as a local, you know that you do not drive through Salem in October because Salem has a peak season and traffic sucks. Um,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, so many
Sorry.
people show up. Anyway, so I started poking around about haunted houses. I came across this really cool article that talked about the operations and the operational challenges of a haunted house. It was a specific haunted house in New York City, which I think it is interesting because it really kind of like exaggerates all the problems because they actually, first of all, they rent their space year round, right? 200
What?
grand a year in rent for a haunted house that operates 23 days out of the year.
That's wild.
Right?
And I mean, the economics of Halloween are insane to me. Like the obviously the most well-known player in this whole game is Spirit Halloween, who does like has such
Yep.
buttoned up operations, has done everything like super well. They pay year round for the right, like the ability to put a haunted house up 23 days of the year.
Yeah, apparently they've got like a haunted morgue set up and like an indoor graveyard. So it's just, I guess it's just too complicated for them to. It's probably so. First of all, it's probably too complicated for them to find a space for 1 month out of every year. I bet you most landlords in New York don't want to do that. And they've got all this specialty stuff, so they just rent it year round. And like the owner said, like, you know, the only thing we do the rest of the year is spend money, and it, just crazy. And not just so 200 grand a year in rent. Not only that, they invested like $1 million a few years ago into that space to renovate it. Massive capital expenses as well.
Okay.
Right? Labor. They spend 250 grand a year in for performers.
That actually seems a little low to me, given
Well,
the expenses. But continue.
true, but so these apparently these performers are in the article. They're dubbed as enthusiasts. So my guess is that they are
Not well paid.
semi-volunteer, kind of doing it for the
Amateurs.
fun. Yeah.
Okay. All right, that
Um,
tracks. All right.
yep. Yep. They have to find 8 makeup artists, 15 to 20 grand in makeup. They buy 20 gallons of mint flavored stage gum.
What is stage gum?
Sorry, stage blood. I'm sorry. Stage, yeah.
Blood.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
Mint
makes more sense.
flavored stage blood?
Yes.
It comes in flavors?
Well, I mean, you're going to put blood in your like fake blood in your mouth. You probably don't want it to taste like.
I mean, I feel like with this, you are not a Halloween haunted house enthusiast.
No.
But like, if an amateur enthusiast performer at a Halloween haunted house is going to yell at me with fake blood,
Yep.
the mint might actually take me out of the moment. It might like remove the whole mystique of it all. But that's just
you know what? Let's leave that to the professionals. I think they know best. They've been running this thing for years.
The enthusiasts.
Yeah, but anyway, I just found all this really interesting, especially being in Q4 and thinking about how you in the warehouse, right, and all of our warehouses are ramping up our operations right now. We're hiring additional labor. We're at work we're having to like find additional capacity to to keep all of our product. We don't have enough room in our warehouses lately. So like, and we think we've got it bad. They've got to do this 1 month of the year and then just spend money. I think it's crazy, and it got me interested. So I actually listened to the State of the Industry presentation from 2022 for the Haunted Attraction Association.
This is like so much detail, so much investigative work that you've done. This is more work and research than this podcast has literally ever seen.
Isn't this we're getting so good at this? I'm telling you, we have found our niche. Everything you don't need to know about supply chain, because this revealed other things. Like there's all kinds of training. You talked about people chasing you with weapons. That
Yes.
Haunted Attraction Association offers weapons training.
Sure.
There's
Yeah.
you have insurance consideration, right? Like slip and fall.
That 100% makes the most sense out of all of this.
But what struck me about the presentation, the reason I listened to it was because I'm thinking like, some of these haunted houses are trying to find other ways to bring in revenue throughout the year, right? So Krampus, Blood Manor, the one that I was reading about in New York, does a My Bloody Valentine thing. They were also talking about establishing a laser tag thing in their space, which I think makes a ton of sense.
Got some playing.
Right. And so I was hoping that this State of the Industry presentation would talk about operations and what else can you do to bring in revenue and they didn't, which was really disappointing, which makes me think that there is a big opportunity in the haunted attraction industry.
Bill, it seems like a peach that is just ripe for picking.
Seriously.
You should invest, get, $1 million, just come buy $1 million. And then like, if you're ready to go.
Exactly. So we can, that was really kind of all I had for today,
Okay.
but I do have
So
one quiz question for you now. Thinking of the Haunted Attraction Association, they give out awards to their constituents. What do you think they call their awards?
The Screamers?
That's a good guess. The Oscars. Get it?
That's so much worse than.
Yeah, yours is better, but I love the dad joke in that one.
That
you must appreciate dad jokes. Come on.
I do.
Matt has spent a lot of this podcast, for those of you listening, shaking his head in disgust.
The tables have really turned, Bill, is what you're trying to say, is that this is many firsts here on this podcast.
Research.
Research,
yep.
For one.
Yep.
Two, that I am the one left shaking my head. Wow, that's a lot. Speaking of firsts, Bill, as it is now that time of the podcast, do you have a sponsor that you would like to plug?
No.
Not a first today. Great, fantastic.
Yeah, that we'll save that first. We don't want to do too many firsts all at once, Matt. It's getting close. I was ready. Yeah, but yeah, I figured save that for another one. We don't want to blow the minds of our listener too much, right?
Fair. I'm very excited for your next story. But before then, we need to plug our sponsor who loves us so much, Amplifier.com. They are an e-commerce kind of centric 3PL that provides all of your shipping and warehousing needs. They are excellent. They have many services, one of which that I am personally going to be, or am using, is print on demand. Bill, have you purchased a shirt from me yet?
Probably
no,
not.
Let me answer the question.
Okay,
you have not.
Yes,
it's okay.
Okay.
I haven't even purchased one for myself. However, that's going to change today, I swear, because Amplifier has print-on-demand services, meaning I hold no stock, and they print it whenever you order it, and I just simply see the money pass through. It's wonderful. They will pre-printing shirts for me on my website, Low Budget Logistics, but you can find Amplifier.com, so you can find them and plug into any warehouse or any e-commerce platform that you're currently on. I happen to be on Squarespace. They do Shopify. They do everyone. TikTok, you name it. They're happy to perform warehousing and 3PL services for everybody.
They are indeed awesome. And I feel like I gave you money for something. I gave you $1, didn't I?
You gave me $1. We're now past the advertising portion.
Yes.
Of our podcast.
Yes. Thank you, Amplifier.
Yes. For letting us use your name. Yes, you gave me $1 one time for supply chain bingo for a ticket to supply chain bingo,
Oh
which
yeah,
I many thanks.
and that I didn't show.
You didn't show, but in special like news for all of the listeners here, January 15th, we're gonna do supply chain bingo again.
Nope.
And I think everyone can appreciate the reason why we're doing it on January 15th. Phil, can you guess why we're doing it that specific day?
I cannot think of what is happening on January 15th. I'm
Oh,
embarrassed to say.
that's when the ILA goes back on strike.
Of course.
What more perfect time to do supply chain bingo than January 15th?
Awesome. I'm putting in my calendar right now, and I will not blow you off, probably.
I'm gonna send an invite out. Sorry, I need to like edit this piece out. When you're done with your calendar, Bill,
I'm done.
what's your second story that you have for us today?
I thought we were just doing one story.
Were we? Okay, we can do one. That's fine.
Yeah. Keep it short
Wow,
and sweet, right?
so short.
Do
I
you want
guess we'll just stop recording now.
Do you want a second story? I have one.
Do you have another story? A
I
quick
do.
one.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. This is a quick one.
A
All
quick
right.
one.
So let me start by asking you, Matt, what's the most that you would pay for a banana?
Oh, I know where you're going with this. I get bananas free at my office, so my threshold for banana purchases is excessively low. Like 20, maybe 15 cents a banana.
All right.
And I feel like I want to pause here by saying that I
Yeah.
feel like any listener that we have of the dozens that we have who's watched Arrested Development is like screaming at me right now, like, say $6 or whatever the number is for a banana. I didn't watch it.
Safe to say that you would not pay $6 million for a banana.
If I had $6 million to spend on something, it would be on your haunted house, Bill.
That sounds fantastic. I will never have a haunted house. I hope that you have $6 million, but I'm guessing you're going to say that's not terribly likely. So this is one thing that will just not come to pass. But anyway, someone did spend $6 million on a banana recently. Yeah, it was I forget the details, some stupid art thing, right? Where the artist, like, my guess, and they didn't exactly say how this happened, but my guess is the artist was trying to like go into the art show thinking like, what the hell am I going to do? Walked by a fruit stand, pulled out a quarter, said, "Oh, banana there," duct taped it to the wall, and that sold for $6 million.
No, I'm gonna stop you here because I know more about this than you do. Clearly.
Okay, please.
So what happened? This is
Yes.
now the banana you are referring to, the banana in question, which sold at
Yep.
Sotheby's for $6 million to a crypto investor out of Hong Kong. But the like backstory on the banana art is that this artist is known for doing this thing. This is that banana in question was the third piece of this art that he has made. In the first one, I believe, was some art institution on the East Coast somewhere. He had a gallery there and he put the banana up and became quite famous for this quote unquote art. Right.
Incomprehensibly so. Can we just can we just say that, right?
Can all agree. And like
Okay.
what smacks me of it all is like, no, this is a banana. This is literally a banana. It will go ripe, it will go bad, it will rot on the wall. This is duct tape. There was zero skill involved in this at all. Like, it's not a glass banana that he colored. Like, no, this is a fresh banana. And he's done this stunt 3 times. This is the first time he's actually sold the quote unquote art in question. And so that is why it made such news, was because like, oh, we can buy the banana now.
Yeah. I didn't want to talk about the actual art. What I wanted to talk about, because there is a supply chain thing here now.
Oh, do tell.
Okay, so when that $6 million banana was sold, someone somewhere said, well, gee, how much did you pay for that banana? And the guy paid 25 cents at a fruit stand. And if you've been to, you know, these fruit stands in New York, right? Like, they're just on okay, well, they're just fruit stands all over New York, just on the side of the street. And they're right. And they're, you know, they do, I don't know what kind of business they do. I'm sure they're just kind of like eking by, right? Because like, and so, right. So someone said, well, gee, you're making a ton of money off of the backs of this fruit seller. You should do something for the fruit seller. And so the person who bought the banana said, made a grand gesture. I'm going to buy, I forget how, like 100,000 bananas from that fruit seller, or 600,000 bananas from that fruit seller. Yeah, and you're raising your eyebrows because you know that this is a bunch of nonsense, right?
Yeah.
Because the fruit seller, I don't know that he turned him down, but he kind of said that doesn't really help because of the logistics of it all, right? A fruit stand in New York getting 100,000 bananas into wherever, he doesn't have a warehouse, right? And then transporting it to wherever this guy wants it. He probably doesn't even know where he wants 100,000 bananas, and the amount of profit that he's going to make off of that. Apparently, I think he makes like 25. So I think he sold this banana for 25 cents. I think they said they make 6 cents off of it. So right, so like nonsense. Buy
Nonsense.
that many bananas, just give him the money.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Astounding. That it is amazing to me when people have more money than sense. And yeah, that is clearly a human being who just does not know what to do with his money.
Next time we talk, we can talk about another industry where I would argue that is the case. There's a cliffhanger for you. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I think we've talked about it before, but for our listener, they'll just be left in suspense.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill. Well, we're at time now, and I'm going to like edit a lot of things out of here. Well, the AI assistant is going to edit a lot of things out of here. Is there anything else that you want to leave our listeners with today? Here in December, especially about Halloween.
Oh, yeah. Well, Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is you're celebrating.
Festivus.
Festivus. I mentioned, I was out with sorry. Okay. We're going to extend the podcast a minute. You can edit this part out if you want, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
Okay.
Matt shaking his head again. Because I was out with my team the other day, and the youngest member of our team was talking about he's living in Boston, but he's from Tennessee, so he's not around family, and he wasn't going to go home, and was kind of saying, I don't know how I really feel. I feel like I should be celebrating something, but I'm not really religious, and Christmas just doesn't do it for me. And I said to him, "You should celebrate Festivus." And he said, "What's Festivus?" Which was really, I knew it was coming, but it hurt. He's right. He's under 30 for sure. I don't know how old, but definitely under 30. And that was just hard to hear.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have to stop saying that, as I assume we might owe some royalties to someone, though we make no money on this podcast. Well, thank you, Bill, for that. I feel very old now.
I do every day.
Else to add? Have a great day, everyone. I'm going to edit just so much. I hope what you hear is good. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back again for another bullshipping with Matt and Bill and Matt, where Bill makes me shake my head. This is a first.
It's going to be your turn to do it next time. I will be the head shaker.
I got to find some real good stuff and do some research now.
All right.